Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are in Salt Lake City. No trip down to Utah is really full without a visit to Mike Patey's hangar. So I'm currently driving down south to Spanish Fork, Utah to see Mike, get a personal tour of his hangar. I get to see Scrappy up personal, up close, and see what that looks like. Let's get down to Spanish Forks and see the legend himself. The moment of truth has arrived. I am at the Mike Patey hangar. This is top secret stuff going on in here, and I'm gonna go knock on that door and see if I can find the man himself. Oh, there he is! Here's the man himself.
Hey, good to see you. Welcome to Utah.
Thanks for having me.
The first snow.
I left Alaska and there's snow down here, no snow up there. What's going on?
I don't know. It's a crazy out of context snow right now. Come on in, buddy.
All right. What's the name for this? A secret dungeon or something?
Top secret world of madness.
Development lab.
This is going to be a big touring Suburban that can go 25,000 feet, go unbelievably fast, and land in really hostile terrain. 2 people, full fuel, full bags. If you can stuff it in the door, it'll fly it.
Oh my goodness. This is Scrappy. Look at that crazy prop. I always wonder how big this thing really is when you're standing in front of it.
13-inch paddle.
Unbelievable. Wow, has this thing ran already?
Yes, sir.
It has, okay. I'm sure it's got this probably unforgettable sound to it.
Yeah, you know, surprisingly, it's quieter than it was in the race plane. Just got 2 more 90s in it than when it was in the race plane, and it quieted up quite a bit. So I was surprised.
Does it have like that, kind of like that muscle car sound to it?
It still does. It used to have a lot more kind of that rat rod muscle sound. It's a little more mild, but it's still definitely throaty.
Amazing. And then this engine is 100% exactly as it was in your
36XX, my racer. Okay. I've done a few mods to make it more powerful. In the race plane, it was 500 horse, and this for a little more than 500.
Motor mount that is supposed to handle all this, all these crazy impacts that are to come, right?
Yeah.
It should absorb them, no problem at all. I saw that video with that little float plane.
Yeah.
Showing what happens when it's not strong, right?
When it's not quite right, it doesn't go good.
How much more time do you think is needed to?
You know, I don't really set any time or deadline. When I start a project, I'm like so addicted to finishing a project. Like I can't sit a project undone. My wife knows vacations gotta slow down or stop until I'm done. I still work full time. It's after hours and weekends only.
How many hours do you think you've got into this thing so far?
Thousands. I haven't made the handles yet. It's got an over-center lock in it, so it closes more like a airtight car.
Wow, it's got a good feel to it. Nice.
And then you see the over-center springs. So I got to machine the handles, but I machined all these components and spring loads, and you can see the...
Yeah, nice lock. So that's always going to be a 1-seater, right?
No, it's 2-seat.
It's a 2-seater?
That's why there's a screen in the headrest. Yeah, the seat's not in right now. There's the screen in the back seat right there. Yeah, G3X. I'm sitting where the back seat was, and the person in the back seat sits where the behind the seat luggage was, and then we have this luggage and the bottom luggage that we opened up a lot bigger. So you still got this luggage.
That's your parachute.
Parachute right here.
Right there.
And the nitrous right there.
Bottle to blow it. Which hopefully never gets
No. That's the bottle to blow it. That's the rocket. That's the nitrous to get another couple hundred horse.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
So that hasn't been announced yet. Right here, I can pick how much horsepower I want.
50, 100.
50, 100. If I put the 200s, that's 200, 250. So I pick which nitrous I want. So the way I've done it, you power this up. Right here we got a purge. That purges the nitrous. And then right here, if I arm the nitrous, that doesn't do anything until the throttle here goes to full throttle, and you can see it doesn't hit this button. But if I push an extra 30 pounds of pressure, and if you look up here, when I hit it, it lights up what I've currently got engaged. So that's 250 horsepower. If it lights up all three of those, that's 50 horsepower, or 200. So it doesn't let you run the nitrous until you're full throttle.
So technically, if you're doing a go around and you're trying to get out of somewhere.
Yeah, 500 is not enough. You can get a little more.
Okay. Air show stuff, I mean, Stoll, you think you could use that in that as well?
Sure.
Your brakes won't even be able to hold this thing.
So we're doing something special with those. So.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
To come later. I don't know if you can tell, those wheels are 14 inches further forward than a Cup. 14 inches, so you can really hammer on the brakes.
So you got cameras too? Do you have a backup camera too? I guess you can't back up, so there's no point in that, right?
Yeah, no, I use it all the time to see the people in formation. Okay. So yeah, so I'll still have the rear camera. I'll have the forward night vision camera.
How much fuel is this thing gonna hold?
I haven't finished the wing design, but it'll hold a lot.
You'll probably be able to go non-stop for...
It'll go more than my buddy's Cubs will. All that I really care about is that I'm not the one that runs out of gas first. I don't want to be the guy who limits the herd or the flock.
You're the one burning at exponentially higher rates than everybody else.
Well, yes, and it's actually just a little bit more, barely, because it takes so much horsepower to hold a certain parasitic drag at a certain speed. It's just, I'll be pulled way back. I might fly at 40% or 50% when they're at 70 or 80%.
Okay.
I got 4 more cylinders, they all work half as hard. It's not like, oh, I'm twice as big of an engine. If they're burning 10, I'm burning 20. For me to burn 20, I'd be producing twice the horsepower and I'd be long gone.
What do you expect this thing to be able to cruise at?
160, 170 miles an hour.
Okay.
Be capable of 25,000 feet easy. So I can go to 25,000 feet, open it up, and then it gets really efficient, because that's when things start to change, where I can actually get more range on better fuel economy because the air gets so thin. So I can get so high that I might get 10,000 feet higher than most Cubs can top out at. I can go to 25, I can actually start to pair up or even do better. 25,000 feet, 170 miles an hour, and just get up and go. What I did is I put my pulse delivery oxygen reader on the dash, and you just put your hand in so I don't have a dead battery, and it displays on my Garmin.
Who came up with the paint design?
Me and my wife.
Yeah?
Yeah, made it up as we went a little bit. Put tape all over it, said, nah, let's try this, let's try that.
Let's try this. With it. Got your family on here?
Yeah. 2 boys, 2 girls.
2 boys.
Mike, Chandra, Alexandra, Ashlyn, Dylan, Dex.
Now this prop here, I mean, is this something that is produced out there?
Yeah, that's an airboat prop. So that prop runs on this same 8-cylinder engine on airboats.
Okay.
I was able to find a spinner from Cato. The internals, and with how little of meat there is here, I had to build a whole internal sub-assembly, a machine bracket, a long carbon tube, 2 carbon rings are embedded in here now. Mm-hmm. So you can't squeeze it at all, and I'm not relying on these connections only to keep the spinner from ever coming loose.
Have they ever had
took a lot more
these
work
on an airplane before? No, first time, huh?
No, we're willing to try it.
You want to see what one will do on a boat?
This is the same blade.
That's 0 to 60 in what?
Fast.
1.5 seconds or something. I really like how this is so open to see exactly what's going on.
Sitting relaxed, I can look out both sides and see clear to here. All right, you want to see something different?
Yes.
I've got black tape covering up these buttons because I wasn't ready to show people everything I've done.
These are the 3 secret buttons?
Yeah, I've fully integrated all my suspension into the Garmin system. Pressures, potentiometers, position sensing. I can tell the plane I want to go into takeoff mode.
What? That is crazy.
So what that now did is I lift the front all the way up and then the back down, and now I'm within 1 degree of stall on the wings max AOA. That way I'm not trying to pop it or guess it. I'm just dropping it down, getting the wing to highest angle of attack within 1 degree of stall, full throttle, and it's gonna lift off right when it's completely safe. And then in flight, I can just hit a button and just change it back to whatever setting I want for landing. If you put a lot of weight in it, like your heavy fuel, another person, bag, suddenly the tail pivot is no longer level on the tail wheel, so they'll shimmy because you want it to be perfectly level, and so people will put metal shims to adjust the tail wheel angle to reduce swivel. I can just look on my panel, tail position is currently at 100%, and I can change the tail position
Just a little bit at a time.
and bring it down in between those two blinds. There we go. Tail at 72% is perfectly flat. That quick, I know I've got the tail set for whatever weight I have in the plane so it doesn't shimmy on takeoff or landing. When you're flying a plane, you come into land in a heavy crosswind, especially with a big high lift wing I'm gonna put on here. They kind of want to fly themselves sometimes. And so I wanted to find a way to not have to call a wing walker out or just to be extra safe. And so I have safe taxi mode, which is watch the front. Now I'm in safe taxi mode. The plane goes flat. I can see straight over the nose, and now the wing angle of attack is gone. I no longer have to S-curve and worry about hitting somebody. The plane goes wide, and then I have a lockout feature, and I can lock it out in the lockdown position so it can't wing rock up, and without any angle of attack on the wing, I'm not going anywhere. And makes it a lot easier to get into a plane that's really tall. The steps right there, but when you're ready to take off, you can just change the height.
Wow. You just have an air tank somewhere inside.
Air tank that raises and lowers a pickup truck doesn't need to hit more than a couple hundred pounds. To do a shock like these, you either would have to go to really heavy system like a vehicle, or you have to go to really high PSI. If you go to high PSI, the pump to do it gets over 150 pounds just in the pump to hit 700 PSI of pressure. And now I can run the shocks up and down a couple hundred times. Full down, full up. When I park it, I'll go full down. Did you remember in Sun and Fun when all the Cubs blew and tore their tie downs out of the ground and landed on top of jets and they lost millions of dollars?
I recall that real briefly.
So I wanted Scrappy to be able to have park mode. Come in and park, drop the front, lift the back, AOA's gone, tie it down. Now it ties down like any other plane that's not tipped up into the wind.
Is this the mode you're going to be landing in?
So this would be landing mode. Depending on the train, part of the challenges with having 20 inches of travel, when you set it really, really soft so that you can use all 20 inches, well, that's fine unless you go out with it pre-charged soft and then go out and it gets really crosswindy, then you can just get worked. It will push you all over the place. It's adjustable in flight based on, am I in the mountains, am I on asphalt, is it crosswind or not? And it's one touch of a button and it goes right to that mode. And then it has another mode, which is really kind of funny looking. Tip over ridge has a pretty steep side slope on it. But when you come in, you kind of tend to roll and it's got you way leaned over. So I can preset, I want a 5-degree left lean. And then the tires lean appropriately to the hillside.
You're side hilling it, basically.
So I can side hill the aircraft. You can see the angle, the tires are still correct. A lot of times we go land on these hills, there's not enough room for all of us. One or two of us gets to be the unlucky one with the fuel draining out of the wing. This allows me to just land on any slope and just level the plane and not have all my fuel go to one wing or the other wing.
Have you started on the wings yet?
I've got a couple parts I've already started on, but not enough to really speak of. I mean, I have to do custom everything.
Is it reasonable to say that maybe next air show season this might be?
It depends. I've got a couple of the projects I'm working on.
Maybe Alaska in May?
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just moved. I got a house to build, a remodel, and a family to take care of, and 4 businesses to run, and I'm building 2 planes at the same time right now, so I'm a little bit busy.
I don't know how you do it. How do you stay sane during that process?
That makes me happy, so it's easy. That's the flap arm up there. Grab a hold and try and wiggle that. Usually you can feel them have a lot of play.
Yeah.
So I did a zero tolerance bearing system. So there's no play in the flap. A lot of times when you're flying, especially if it's getting kind of windy and gusty, and you're coming into land, you're hurrying and trying to pull back the throttle and then dump the flap. So what I wanted is a really high-speed flap, but I don't want my hands moving all the time. I machined my own throttle quadrant, made my own pedestal, and then if you look right here, high-speed electric flap on the throttle.
There's no...
Yeah, as I'm coming into land, I can be slowly adjusting the power back, and right as I'm getting close, I can be pulling the power and dropping the flaps at the same time. It's nice if you aren't chasing things.
Yeah, absolutely. Prop is fixed, right?
Yep.
It's not going to move.
Ground adjustable. Now know all the secrets.
Okay.
Except for the wings.
Except for the wings. So kind of 40 degrees of flaps, I would imagine?
No, maybe more, but...
Maybe more.
Yeah. That's my cooling flap. You can see through the center.
cooling over, right?
And lift.
So for landing,
So for landing,
bring
you
that
dump
down?
that down. Yeah, if you look straight on at the front, this surface that's tipped, this and this, is all pushing down, and it just increases the lift, more the ground effect than it is lift, to kind of capture that last couple feet.
Are you going to have leading edge slats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Are those going to be based on angle?
I've designed fixed, I've designed movable, I've designed multi-position, and I'm just playing with weight versus benefit.
Because Draco was, that was based on angle of attack, right?
They were fixed.
They were fixed.
They were fixed.
Okay.
They were ground adjustable. Trying to cool 8 cylinders is virtually impossible. When I tried to do all the flow analysis, what the max amount of ram air I could get, what the exit air was, which was partially that big giant belly flap needed. But anytime I tried to cool a big oil cooler or 2 smaller oil coolers in the front that engine normally runs, I couldn't figure out how to get enough heat rejection. So that's why the oil cooler came way back here. And one of the biggest concerns is you go through and you do all your tests and you do all your math about what it should take to cool it, and then you go, I hope it works. I can't say it's worked every time. Like, go back 15 years ago and I'd do a change on an oil cooler and I felt like it was voodoo magic. Over the years, I've gotten a little bit better to understand the silly voodoo that's air movement. I did run it. One of the biggest challenges is keeping oil cool on the ground on a hot day. I ran this, it was 104 degrees outside, tied it to a pickup truck, took it up to power, tried it at just idle like you would on a ramp on a hot day. I couldn't get the temp off the vermotherm, so it went up to 188 and just stopped perfect, and it regulated itself, no adjustments. That was 104 degrees on blacktop. I could not heat this up. So I'm super excited about it. It passed the test. So
computer
in
and
flight,
reality
matched.
Yeah, reconcile.
And I got lucky. A little bit of both. Because it's still voodoo. It does weird stuff sometimes.
Where's the little guy that we see in the videos a lot?
Scrappy the skeleton?
Yeah.
I've actually seen him on the table.
That's Scrappy.
Where's he at?
This is Scrappy.
And the backstory on him, somebody gave him to you?
It's my buddy Ron just loves skeletons, and he brought it in one day, and I loved him because it just made us laugh all the time. And we named him Scrappy, and now he hangs out and he does the weirdest poses. We can't show you all of them. It's hilarious. He's a little rascal. We made him a shirt though. Check that out.
Oh my goodness.
Back to work.
Right? No, that was
bandana.
Yeah,
From a little
actual
bit of,
real carbon fiber.
Fiber bandana.
Yeah. This is our buddy. He's a good helper.
Too funny.
Telling you, after we did the rocket test, this guy was lighting bottle rockets right and left, scooting across the floor. He was mayhem all the time.
I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed my tour of the Mike Patey hangar. If you haven't followed Mike Patey, I've got a link right down below to Mike's version of this video. If you like aviation, entrepreneurship, and just good old-fashioned hard work, you will be right at home on Mike Patey's channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.